So today's lesson is going to be on how to build a resume for a high school student. This resume is built into different categories in its format. So what you would do is you would have your first name bolded and in a bigger font compared to the rest of the content. An address or city, you can put your contact information, email or phone number as well here under this line, on this line. And then your first part of the resume should state education. Okay, it should be bolded, it should be capitalized, it should be a bigger font than the rest of the content under that category. But it will be a smaller font compared to your name heading. Underneath this particular category, you would put your high school, and then underneath that, expected diploma date. Professional experience would be the next category. This is going to include any job you perform for an organization, volunteer or paid, outside of school or inside of school that was internship or apprentice based. Now, this individual, this Kalani, obviously had a organization he worked for. So this is not what you would not put organization here. You would not put location here. This is just highlighted or added into this particular resume just to show you what the heading should be. So for him, American Red Cross was the organization. The location was the city of Monrovia, California. His title would be next, blood donation volunteer. And then the time period in which he performed this service to this organization. So his was summer 2019. And then underneath that would be details in sentence format, exactly or close to giving a description of the task that he completed and performed at this particular, during this particular experience. So you would have American Red Cross, blood donation volunteer, summer 2019, and then details. Should you have a second organization that a second professional experience that you perform, you would create the same format a second time, okay, but with different information. Now, for certain individuals in my classes, like sports medicine, he would have a sports medicine professional experience that he would have completed. When he performed or completed this particular resume, he was also in his first year. It was the end of his first year. So he would not have had professional experience in sports medicine yet. But as a second year student, as his resume built and grew over the 2 years, he could add Monrovia High School, Monrovia, California, title, sports medicine student trainer, time period, and then it would be fall 2020 or August 2020 to June, or August 2019 to June 2020. So it would be a time period that he would put in there, and then he would add in what his details were. So that would be example. He worked as an intern and apprentice underneath me in school. So again, any job you perform for an organization, volunteer, or paid outside of school or inside of school that was internship or apprentice based. Next would be professional activities. That's the next category. Professional activities, okay, again, is bolded. It's bigger than the actual experience or activities that you place underneath are the subcategories. So any activity performed in an environment where you had a mentor you worked for within a school setting. Again, let me repeat that. Any activity you performed in an environment where you had a mentor you worked for within a school setting. Now, he would put Monrovia High School. This is where Math and Science Academy for Monrovia High School would be represented. Okay, so Monrovia High School Math and Science Academy 2016 to present, Monrovia High School Renaissance 2017 to present, and Monrovia High School Link Crew 2018 to present. Again, it's the details underneath. Now, what he did, and I'm profiling this because it gives you an idea on how you can format this. You can format you can format it this way, right? Where it's Monrovia High School, a dash, then what it was for, the club or the crew that you worked for, and then the date. Okay, so you can basically, it would be basically very much the same format. Here, Math and Science, he's a student, so he could put student as the title, but let's make it a little bit, let's basically make it a little bit more organizational based. So the high school, and then what was the organization that you, or the club, or whatever the entity was within that high school. Let's add that here rather than put title. Okay, so if you use this format, you would use this same format in this particular category as well. So if you use this format, you're gonna use this same format here. If you decide to use this format here, where it's on one line, you would use the same format up here. Okay, so we stick to we make it consistent with the formatting. So he had 3 activities that he utilized, that he placed in there, and that he did while he was in high school. So he adds all 3 of those. Now, here's something that you would want to do, is that if, which is not accurate here on this one, but you're going to want to make sure that because it's more of a CV, not a resume, we would make it most recent to least recent. Most recent to least recent. So now we have 2018 to present, 2017 to present, 2016 to present. Okay, so that is for professional activities. Now, professional skills, many of you on your CVs have put down skills. So it looks like that. We want it to be much more appealing, so we want to add professional skills. Now, professional skills are skills learned under a professional guide or mentor, and the skill is professional industry based. Okay, so let me give you an example. Skills, he learned first aid, knowledge of how to treat post-traumatic injuries, injuries that would arise from a car crash, collapsed building, as well as other sudden possible events that may occur. Sports medicine, knowledge of how to prevent minor injuries from arising during any first physical activity, treatment of activity-related injuries, strains, cramps, dislocations, sprains, etc. Okay, so those are skills learned at school. He learned it from a professional guide or a mentor, and the skill is professional industry based. You are not going to put down skills like communication skills, know how to talk to people. Okay. We want, unless you did an internship and you were working for a corporation and you helped with public speaking, you prepared speeches for, I don't know, somebody within the city of Monrovia or city of Pasadena or somewhere local, and you were an intern with that particular organization, and you assisted with putting together speeches for the city spokesman, right? For emergencies or whatever it might be, just giving you an example. Then you obviously could add communication skills, and then you would put details in there in terms of what how you are more credible with regards to that particular skill. Okay, so we don't want skills that are just going to be mundane and most anybody could just write it in without actually having these tangible skills that they could talk about in an interview. And I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Okay, so it has to be industry based. I want to convey that the skill needs to be something that you can talk about in an interview and tell them how you're different and how you differentiate yourself to put yourself above the competition. For a quick example, we had a student who did Streets Are Safe for Everyone. It was a nonprofit organization, and he learned certain skills within that particular internship over the summer that he feels much more qualified about, much more capable of. And that has to do with, communicating with a lot of different people. So he could add in, something related to communication. I'm just giving you an example of communication, something related to communication that can then relates to the experience he had. And then he could speak about that in an interview because they might ask him about that. So that is professional skills. Okay, so for you as a high school student who is still trying to build content for your resume or CV, obviously as a high school student, you start from nothing and then you build it as you continue to develop in your high school career, and then carry on to college and into your actual career as you continue to progress through life. So we know that it's going to be there's not going to be a whole lot of content. So we want to add as much content that is relevant to your life and to what you're doing, and to ensure that that content is allows your resume and CV to pop, allows it to make you stand out above the crowd, okay, or stand out in the crowd, I should say. So we're going to add accomplishments, okay, and so accomplishments can be any honor or award or recognition received by you, and you're going to put the same exact format, okay, a little bit different. Well, I shouldn't say same exact, I say a little bit different, but we're going to try to keep it close to the same. Okay, so you're going to put down organization, okay, award name and date, and then details about the award. And the details about the award should not be bolded. Okay, so organization, Monrovia High School, award name, presidential award, we'll say, date, when you had it, and then details about the award. We want to know about it. Now, if you have, 10 or 15 awards, and they are all from, 2013 on to now, we want to cut down the older awards. Okay, so make it towards like 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, make it towards just when you're just you in high school. Cut out all the excess awards or younger awards that we would consider to be excess on the document. Cut it out during middle school. So anything 7th, 8th grade, now that you're a senior or junior, a sophomore, if you're a sophomore, obviously a 7th or 8th grade might still be relevant because, we're talking about 16 or 17, but anything 2013, 14, and 15, we try to say, and you have enough 2020, 2019, 2018, we have enough to beef up the resume, then keep it. But anything 2013, 14, 15, it's a little bit too old. Okay, so, there's enough content to be able to add to that for the accomplishments. So, and the awards can be anything. It can be something that you did, for some type of charity or anything like that. You might have received an honor at school. If it was something that was real, we're not like MVP varsity soccer team. We're trying to eliminate that stuff, right? So, MVP, JV, things of that nature. we don't want, we want to exclude those types of awards. We're talking about awards that really make your resume or CV, we're talking about more of a CV, but your CV really stand out. Okay, so if you had like if you're a track athlete and you went to the national championship and you took second place and was amongst thousands of athletes, then yeah, we want to add those. Okay, if it's something that's super, super elite where it would really stand out for you in that resume, in that interview, when you get the interview, then yeah, we want to add it. But the generalized high school awards, sports wise, we kind of want to eliminate those awards as much as we can. Okay, and then professional certifications. If you have professional certifications that you've earned, then definitely add those. So he added CPR, first aid, AED, the company, and then he put in his certification dates or the time period he's certified to. Okay, so any certifications you have, for sure, right? We're going to add that in. References, you're going to put down, okay, the name, the organization, and where this and where he's from, or where the individual's from in this organization, right? So for this particular type of CV. So Dr. Kevin Mercado, Monrovia High School, sports medicine. Okay, we could at Paul Doles, Monrovia High School, educator, director of school culture, Marvin Fong and Associates, Inc., architect, right? So we're going to add, those resumes are going to add in, okay? Or on the references, they're going to add in the way that we want them to, okay? In terms of making sure that the individual who's receiving the resume or the CV understands what they're doing. So we don't want it to just say, this, because people aren't going to know who we are outside of a high school setting. So we want to make sure that we have enough information so that they can get a good idea as to where these individuals come from. Okay, so going to the interview process, we want details on these. I want to encourage to put details in this format. And details that the interview, when you have the interview, you can speak about those details in length. So going back to like the streets are safe for everyone, you put skills, you put details on the skills, he would put the professional experience, and then he would talk about that professional experience. And the fact is, you want to put stuff on these CVs that when they ask you in an interview, because those questions will come up, they'll look at the resume or the CV and they'll go, okay, hey, can you tell me what is this Streets Are Safe for Everyone? Can you tell me a little bit about how that internship, like what did, gosh, it looks like, you did a lot of communicating and talking to different people and making cold calls. You talk to me a little bit about that. And the student, whoever provides that CV, that student can elaborate on those details and make himself look really good in an interview process when it comes down to that particular resume. Same thing with the communication skills. Hey, can you talk to me a little bit about how your skills could benefit this corporation? This is what we're doing, and then he can elaborate on the skills that he did, the experiences, how those skills and those experiences can contribute to that organization. You don't want to put in information in your CV that you can't talk about in an interview. So honors and awards, if you put down all these different honors and, they ask you about it, oh yeah, I did this. It's like, a few words, one sentence, nothing else. You want to just remember that they're going to ask you questions about your CV. And when they ask you questions about your CV, us as employers, right? We're not looking for just a one sentence answer. We're looking for multiple sentences to answer the question in its entirety, to give us more, to elaborate. So just understand that when you're in an interview, that CV is going to carry with you into that interview, and they will ask questions potentially. For the most part, you have to be prepared for that those questions are going to come from that CV, and you want to be able to elaborate on the information that you provide on that and make yourself look really good and credible, and allow yourself to stand out above the rest when it comes down to that interview. Because remember that the CV and the interview process, the CV and the interview is what is going to combine together to give you a chance at a second interview if they offer it, or at a third interview if they offer that, or at a job if they're offering it after the first interview. So that completes my summary of how to build a CV for a student who is in the high school, at that moment.